Welcome to the BEEVisio training. So, as a final step, we want to add some diagonal lines. The structure itself is now almost complete. The only thing missing now are my diagonal braces. Basically, the user manual also states that we want to install a load-bearing member. A horizontal and a vertical pipes are always supported by the diagonal brace. Whether we go in this direction or in that direction, doesn't really matter for now. I'll just use the rear pipes here for now. I'll set one up on one side and then copy it over to the other. That means I'm going to insert some joints now. Here, if I know it's rectangular and at right angles, I could, and indeed can, fit a fixed angle joints. But if I'm not sure, I'll use the GA7. I'll put that in there. First of all, I'll position it on the joints. I'll insert the tri-ball, select my pan axis, Control key, pan upwards, and now I'll use the tab key. Until it's flush with the right-hand side, the tri-ball is positioned, and I'll say, right-click, center point to point. Let's position that, and I fitted the GA7 flush against the corner joints. It's similar up here. I'll place the joints on top, switch on the tri-ball, select the swivel axis, press the control button, and swivel inwards and drag upwards. I can now also use the tab key to say I want to make it flush at the top. I've selected the axis. I go to the center point and say, to point, then select my surface. We usually set the distance, move it 10 millimeters, just to be on the safe side in case there are any tolerances. Sawing tolerances, manufacturing tolerances, involved, and I'd set this to 0 here. I could also use the diagonal to check the perpendicularity. That's why we say it's better to leave a bit of space, so I've got some leeway. That's how we fit the components in as well. Now it gets a bit trickier. I want to align this upper swivel element to the second upper joints. To do this, I'll click on the assembly. The assembly consists of 2 components. That's why it's already highlighted in yellow. If I click on it again, I'll select the upper swivel joints element and enable tri-ball. I've already got it on the swivel axis automatically. Basically, the tri-ball is already mounted on it. I just need to switch on my swivel axis. I'll take my reference point, the one sticking out here from the joints. I select that and tell it to align it around the swivel axis to the center point at the top. And now I'm scrolling back and forth a bit with the scroll wheel to my center. That's the hole where the screw would normally be. We've deliberately left the screw out for now. And now the joint's already aligned. I'll do the same up here. I'll select the front joints point once, twice. I'll switch on my tri-ball. I've got my swivel axis, which runs through here. I'll select that. I'll right-click on my direction point where it's pointing out here. Select Set as Center Point, then left-click again to deselect it, and down here, I'll either select the hole again or just the outer surface because it's already neatly aligned. I could do that as well. Now the top joints is aligned too. It's definitely important that you've properly activated the pivot axis, selected it. Otherwise, the joints might move slightly in all directions. It won't look right afterwards to fit properly. Right. The next step is to go back to my pipes. I have my minus pipe K inside. I select my pipes, insert my pipes in, select my length change point, specify that it should align with the corresponding magnetic point, and select my joints. And now here's the exception. Normally, a dimension is always displayed without ash, a decimal place. I do that using the right arrow key. Move the cursor to the right, so to speak, and delete the decimal point. Enter, right. The simple reason is this: when it comes to sawing, it makes absolutely no sense for me to still have a decimal place. You can't normally saw that precisely with a standard metal circular saw. It's just that I now also have a certain level of control. When I later generate a bill of materials and all the long length components, which don't have any decimal places, then I have a high probability that I've designed it very accurately, and there are no errors in it. The next step is to take joints, pipes, and joints. As you can see, all three items are selected. I can, but don't have to, turn them into an assembly. I can also rename the assembly if I want to. And I'll now add the diagonal to the tri-ball. The tri-ball is now positioned underneath the joints, with the joints on top of it. I can copy it over, but I can also do it this way if I've done it before. I select my movement direction, go to the center point, press the Shift key, right-click, drag it over, wait until I've got a grip on these two pipes here, then click Copy. I can see the dimension is 12 millimeters, that's the exact measurement, and I've placed my assembly here. I'll save it just to be on the safe side. Yeah, and I'd say the assembly is looking very good so far. To finish off so that we can prepare the structure better for the drawing and take measurements more accurately, we can add a floor area, because measuring the height from the wheels isn't quite so easy now, as the reference points are very limited and are all at a single point. That's why we like to use this tool. Under Accessories, you'll find the base surface. And now I'll simply place a base plate under the roller. I can use the tri-ball in exactly the same way here. First of all, I'll adjust the height to the point, then I select a control point here below the roller, then adjust the height. Normally, I'll then select the two horizontal planes and specify, relative to the point, and set them either to the frame width or the wheel width. I've now got my panel now neatly aligned on one side, and I'll simply stretch it across the other two. That means the plate can now be adjusted. I'll just double click on it. And there I have my length adjustment measurements. I'll select 2 point and choose my snap points here. The depth, right click to point and select my snap point here. Then the plate is neatly in place. I'll save it. Now I can, well, finish the build. It fits. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next BEEVisio training session.